Blimey, caught us unawares there. Anyway, we are back. Thank you. It's like I do love the fact that Jonathan applauds himself.
I wasn't applauding myself.
No, it's the mark of a great actor.
I was not doing that. I was applauding you. I was doing
Now, once upon a time... Oh, here we go. I've got them. Right, OK, now, a bit of decorum, please, because it's that time for seriousness.
Yes.
It is the time for Ross's rating. I kind of feel we ought to have some sort of sting for Ross's rating.
I think Jonathan Kidd's done quite a good deal of it.
Ross's ratings.
I like that. We'll record that. We'll record it and print it, as they say. Right, Ross's ratings this week. This is what the great man had to say about the Palace game. There we go. Petr Cech, 5. You could do this in the style of Burger Al.
Well, no, I don't want to give the game away.
No, OK. We don't want to tease it too much.
Yeah.
Right, Cech got 5. Ivanovic got 4. Cahill, 5. Terry, 5. Azpilicueta,
Very good.
5.
Well done. Pretty proud.
Luis, 7. Lampard, 6. Madic, 6. Schürrle, 7. Hazard, 7. Torres, 4. Oscar got 6, Salah got 6, and Bar got 5. One of my favourite comments, if you've read this on the website, and in fact, if you haven't, go to the website. There's a whole section called Ross's Ratings where I put all of Ross's ratings up.
His assessment of the game was great.
Brilliant,
actually,
wasn't it?
It?
But the best comment of all was Demba Bar, anonymous.
Yeah, but he was.
And that's what he said
inaccurate.
about Demba Bar.
Did he touch the ball?
I don't think he did.
No.
He shied away from it a bit. I do remember. But, you know, I actually think he's not far wrong there. I mean, you know, you could argue that the Schürrle and Hazards might have been a bit generous, but, you know, I don't know. That's a moot point.
He said it was Jose's fault, didn't he? He said actually he chose the wrong combination of
he did.
players for the game.
And I think he might have been right. I was surprised to see Lampard, Luiz and Matic starting together, I've got to be honest. You know, but I think we have to give quite a lot of credit to Palace. I thought basically, I think one of the things that they did really, really well is they hit us down the wings. So Branner and Aspie were pulverised all afternoon.
Yeah, fairly torrid time.
They did.
It wasn't good.
They did indeed, and you know, and I think, well, fair enough. But I thought, you know, Balassi, Jerome, and Punchin were a real handful all afternoon. And
they were very physical though as well. I thought one of them was going to get sent off actually with all those challenges early on.
They did. There's a great shot here. I just want to have a look at, you know, Palace also. There we go, playing rugby. It looks kind of like a weird sort of tango, doesn't it?
They're going to have.
I think Branner's been tangoed. What do you think of that, Darren?
Yeah, I must admit, I'd never actually seen that picture before, but did he not get in any trouble for that?
It's a mental. It looks a bit romantic. It looks a bit sexual, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's quite... Was that near the start of the game?
I've no idea, mate. They're not dated. I just nick them off YouTube or whatever and put them on. But there you go. I mean, here's a question I want to ask is, you know, are we susceptible to teams who rough us up a bit and go at us at pace? Who wants to have a go at that one? Johnny, you're our guest, so I'm going to land you with it.
Definitely. It's just having seen the highlights, what it seemed to me that we're kind of missing that ability for a good old snide tactical foul a la Ballack and Mikel, just to break things up a little bit. It's not there anymore.
I think that's Ballack was great at that, wasn't he?
Well, just fantastic.
I remember at Anfield in the very first minutes. He kicked. Wasn't Murphy? Somebody similar.
Alonso.
In the very first minute of the game, was completely. He disappeared after that because he had the ability to do that.
Do you know what, Johnny? The two Johnnies, as I'll now call them. No pun intended.
I don't know.
Sponsored by... No. Let's not go down
Sponsored by Johnny's. No.
Sponsored by Lloyd's Pharmacy, maybe. Or Keepy Uppies. Anyway...
I had to do another erectile dysfunction ad.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned it, because I know you do them.
Yeah, I have to do another one. They've invented something called...
Have they?
Yeah. Which is...
What they invented?
It really works.
No. You tried it?
Yeah, no, of course I haven't, but I've read all about it.
I told you about those blue pills, Jonathan. Leave them alone, man. I know
you
they're
don't need
blue.
to take the blue pills. You just drop it on the end of your knob.
No, I don't think we're allowed to say knob. No.
Yeah, but you can. It's...
No. Knob, as in, you dropped it on the knob on your remote control, for example. There we go. OK, let's move back to football. Actually, talking of football, we're just going to extend the slightly toilet joke here, because I think what Chelsea really need is an enforcer. You know, I think this is the point that the two Johnnies made, that actually, you know, since Ballack, who I absolutely loved, you know, we haven't got anybody who can run around and kick people when we're getting kicked. What do you reckon, Darren?
Mourinho likes players that do cynical fouls as well.
Pepe.
It's his sort of style.
See, I kind of secretly quite like Pepe.
Maicon.
Remember Pepe?
Bloody hell.
Maicon. I like a bit of a hooligan on the
fell over every single time. You just thought,
but they kick people.
They kick people as well.
Yeah.
I like it. I like a bit of that. I like it. You know, if you like a little bit of aggro in your football, join Mourinho. You know,
but Matic should be the one that's doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. But I think Matic doesn't have the the presence.
He hasn't
yet
got the
in the
cojones
team.
to do that.
Well, I don't know. I think he's a big lad. I think he'll be okay. But I think it's early days for Matic. He's still a bit. He's the great thing about Balak. He'd been around the block. He's old and
he was gnarled. He was a bit gnarled.
He was. You know, and he was German. So he had ruthless efficiency when it comes to
Germanic
kicking
ruthless
people.
efficiency. Yeah.
Yes, kicking versus
Gnarled, as they call it in Germany.
Yeah, he also had no respect for sportsmanship. He dived against us.
Oh, I forgot your secret Balak hater, Darren. You're a secret Balak hater.
It's not a secret at all.
No, I know, because I remember when we had that interview on the podcast back when we were rubbish. We had an interview with a German radio broadcaster. And Darren actually, he used the word that we are absolutely forbidden to say, and it's just to try and screw up this poor German broadcaster. He said, I think Balak has a. He did. Yeah, on air.
He dived, got a penalty against us, scored a push or move afterwards. So he has no sort of respect for anything to do with the game or sportsmanship or anything, Balak. So he does do his fouls for that reason. And I was quite pleased when he got crocked in the FA Cup final.
Oh, you're horrible, man!
Horrible
man! If I had a red card, I would issue it right now.
He didn't get crocked. He got kicked up in the air and his
leg
done to pieces
by
Boateng.
Yeah.
And who was the referee that day?
You could say he got royally crocked.
Foy.
Yes, absolutely.
Good spot. Now, enough.
Absolutely.
Bottom line is, apart from an enforcer, I also think that we actually, we need a player who can grab the game by the scruff of the neck, a bit like, Drogba used to do regularly for us, and I'm a bit sad to say this, a bit like Lampard used to do. But I don't think he's capable anymore.
So you need a striker and a midfield player to do that?
Well, somebody good enough with the personality and the strength of mind. You can see that we're in a fight here. We're up against it. This is the kind of game where we need to get what. You know what? I think I know why Jose is so knocked about this match, because I remember reading something before this game where he was saying that this is a bit like Blackburn in his first year. Remember that game away when we played Blackburn?
Is that the one where Robin was crocked?
Yeah, it was a right scrap.
I was right behind the goal.
But they hung in there, they toughed it out, they had a right old scrap. We nicked it 1-0.
We did.
And that showed Jose then that we would win the title. And I think this time we failed that test. And he's looked at that team and he said, they don't have the cojones like that team did, so we're not going to win it. But we need somebody who can see that in a game and then grab it and say, right, I'm bigger than all this. I'm going to take the game of the scrum and I'm going to score and I'm going to win us the match. And that's what Lamps and Drogs used to do a lot.
Yeah, obviously Robin scored that one at the start of February.
Yeah.
But Terry was good as well, because Dickov was just trying to annoy everyone.
Are we allowed to say Dickov, Greg?
Terry was having none of it like the old time, and he was, like you say about the whole enforcer thing, he was from the back, he was sticking up for everyone, he was running around, just sort of putting people in their place.
Dickov was a wonderful player for a man with no talent, wasn't he?
He was, wasn't he? Didn't he end up managing Oldham?
Yeah, I think it was Oldham.
Serves him right, really, didn't
he? Scaled the heights.
Oh, but I'm tushed. The second highest ground in the country. That's a random stat for you. You know what the highest ground? Yeah, West Brom. Yeah. All right, Stato. I think, apart from what I'm moaning and whinging about the game, I've got to say, I think that Palace, they were the better side on the day at the end of the day. They wanted it more, and fair play to them. They had a game plan. Pulis is a decent manager, and they went for it. And you have to sometimes say, well done.
I don't think they were the better side. We had 63%.
On the day. They were the better side on the day.
Well, they won, but at the same time, it's that same tactic that we have great difficulty breaking down, which is
indeed
larger numbers of players just hanging about.
I'm going to get onto that in a minute.
And then breaking.
What really irks me, though, is if you look at our team and their team, there's not one Palace player that would get in our side.
Absolutely. But yet we'll give Paris Saint-Germain a great...
Hang on, so there's murmuring.
From the benches, I'm so sorry. Get in their benches.
What are the murmurs?
Is it Dan?
What, Dan?
I'll just say I don't think any Palace player would get into our squad, let alone the first team. Pulis does a job. He's a good manager with limited resources, and we can't complain.
Mate, I can't disagree with anything that you say with that. I think you're spot on there. We were alluding to this earlier on in the show, but we were saying that, is it the lack of a striker or is it our form? If you look at the stats, Palace had 4 shots on target and 10 off, so actually they could have beaten us by more than 5.
Well, I think we were, though, attacking most of the time when we had 3 at the back.
They hit the post.
We had 3 at the back at that stage.
But do you know how many? We had 3 shots on target and 19 off target. This is a perennial problem.
I agree completely, but it was down to Torres.
Yeah, that miss he did in the last.
The last one when he was given the ball and he chipped it over.
Look at this. There you go. Look, there we go. We got. This is a lovely photograph. This wasn't the miss that he made, I don't think. But you've got Hazard. Hazard's looking. You see what we got there. You've got Hazard looking at Barr and Torres, and the look of horror on his face says, "I play with these two up front." You can look at the horror on his face. That's like a man who's seen all of his worst nightmares come true. Barr's scared of the ball. Torres is he looks like I can't say it on air because I'll get thrown off again.
He looks like he's about to break into the old Bring Me Sunshine.
He does, I think Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise would be better than Torres up front.
Can I read some of our Twitter comments?
Yes, because I need a mental break.
We've got quite a few about Torres.
Are they printable? Readable?
Some I'll have to miss out with the first word from Raheem's one, but the real Tony G, Grosser Jack.
Grosser Jack, he should be here tonight.
He says, Torres' time is done at Chelsea, attitude wrong, capability gone, no more chances.
Yep.
ERM at Vigo says, well, if he scored as a £50 million striker did, maybe the manager may have more confidence. 3 managers, same BS. Ken Barkway, 100% right. I'll support him as long as he wears a blue shirt, but it's just not worked. With 2 years left, it's time. Raheem says his confidence disappeared 3 years ago. Stop pretending it's ever going to come back. He's Clayton Beerman says he should be playing for personal pride and World Cup place. He's been a massive disappointment.
But then you know what? I mean, I think the major. I mean, there's something wrong with his head. I've got to say it. I mean, I know it sounds cruel, but there is. The man has no his mentality is all wrong. I mean, I cannot understand it. I just cannot understand it. But the man needs help because his head is not in the right place.
The one thing, Ethio 1989 is right there as well. He says you can't just blame him. We haven't got a plan B. We're only a counter-attack.
Well, I was going to say, no, I mean, they're reading my mind, Darren, but I mean, I would accept that totally. And I mean, here's a good stat for you, particularly when we're away and we're playing against what you would describe as mediocre teams, but we failed to break down organised defences. And the games that we've lost, Stoke, Villa, Everton, Newcastle, okay, and the games that we've drawn, Man U, Arsenal, Spurs, West Brom, largely, I mean, I think Arsenal is forgivable. And Man U was a bit weird, but the others we could have, we should have probably won those games. But either they basically parked the bus and tried to hit us on the break, and we couldn't break them down because we tried to play through them, or there's a point there.
Yeah, okay. With the West Brom one, though, obviously we were very close to winning it. I don't think we deserved to.
But we didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
No, but I mean we didn't deserve. I think the draw was deserved. In the Spurs game, Torres getting sent off obviously didn't help for that one. Like John said, the United game was start of the season. No one really knew how bad they were going to be. Yeah, but Mourinho was just throwing a bit of caution.
It's easy to say that with hindsight. A lot of people have been out this week doing that. But
and everyone at the time thought that Moyes is a good manager and he might actually do well. And at the time,
who could have predicted how rubbish they were going to be? I mean,
it's a shame. If we were playing them now, it'd be a lot different to when we were playing them back in August.
I mean,
sadly, United have a better away record than we do.
Have they got a better league or something?
As well.
Is that right?
That's a really frightening thought.
I mean, we've scored fewer goals than anyone else in the top four.
We've been horrible away. So, I mean, it backs up our point that it's not just the fact that our strikers are rubbish, apart from Eto'o doing okay occasionally. It is actually our inability to break these seasons. Now, look, there's a point running on from this. You've got a Twitter thing, have you?
Just one more tweet.
A mix-a-la.
Mixed up from Shane Chels. Apparently, Torres' goal per minute ratio in the Premier League this season is 1 goal in every 338 minutes.
I don't really understand what that means in English, but
it's about every 4 games, just under every 4 games.
Pretty poor. Look, with all of that in mind, I'm kind of, we're now what? We're second in the league?
Yeah.
All right.
See what
I'm not going to mention the team that can't be mentioned, but they're currently top. City, I still think are probably favourites for it. But what occurred to me after watching that this weekend, I suddenly got a real kind of, I went a bit white and sweaty, and not in a good way, all right? Because it suddenly occurred to me, look who we've got coming up. We've got Stoke, Swansea, Sunderland, Norwich and Cardiff. Basically 4 of those teams are going to be fighting for their lives to avoid relegation, which is a bit like the Palace game. And I'm just thinking, actually, we might be better off playing teams who are in the, at the top of the table than that lot, because they're going to do what Palace did.
Yeah,
they're going to park the bus,
but also having seen what Palace did,
and try and hit us on the break, knowing that we're going to wait for them to try and hit them on the break.
That's the game plan.
Cardiff will be down by then, I reckon.
Hopefully, Norwich, maybe.
We're at home now. I would fancy us at home to beat any. I would disregard the teams coming to Chelsea. I would always expect, regardless of one parks the bus, I'd expect us to win those games. Stoke, Sunderland, Norwich. I think irrelevant of what they do, we should be able to win it. The West Ham game, the reason we drew it wasn't really just their time wasting. We weren't hitting the target. You were saying about the stats on the weekend. It was the same thing with them. We could have put them with the away games as well.
Also, we were lacking somebody to actually score once again at West Ham.
Well, you know what I said the other week on the show, and I'll stand by that. I mean, when I see us play with Torres compared to when we play with Eto'o, I see the likes of Schürrle and Oscar and Willian and Hazard playing it to each other around the 18-yard line because A, his movement is so appalling, i.e. there is none, and B, they think, what's the point of giving it to him? He's going to fire it over the bar by 30 yards or fall over or just basically look like simple Jack. I mean, you know, that you can see it in their faces.
Is Eto'o actually injured? He's got
he's got a hammy, pulled a hammy.
He wasn't holding him back for
No. He's out for PSG.
Mixer are quite decent actually today. So CFC unofficial, she says.
I like her. She's nice.
She was saying that our plan A is Eto'o. After we said about everyone relying on Torres.
Yeah.
Torres is our plan B. She's always admired Torres' work rate, but he just isn't scoring goals when we need him to. Ethio 1989 came back straight away with. Even our plan A of Eto'o has 0 away goals, so he's not much.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all.
Deo Adebowale says, but Torres isn't getting a service, which I don't really agree with because we do attack down the wings a lot. But sometimes it is, to be fair, it's only Torres in there. It's easier to mark it when there's only one person that's actually attacking. If you actually had 2 or 3 people in there, the defenders have more of a handful. But then just one person they've got to focus on, I think it's a bit easier to.
I always think things aren't working when Branner is the major source of delivery.
Yeah, that always. I forgot to mention this, but our corners again, absolutely shocking. What is it with professional footballers at Chelsea? They can't kick a ball 20 yards. I mean, this is not a new problem. I mean, we've said it on this show millions of times. Zola and Lasso were the last 2 decent corner takers, weren't they?
They were. Lasso was great.
I can't understand it, Darren.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know, I've actually never really thought about our corner problem, really, because we've got enough lumps in there that can actually head the ball in if we get good service.
It's about the delivery, mate. Anyway, look, moving on, because we've only got a couple of minutes left to do all this, but I mean, it is a bit of a funny old-fashioned league this year, isn't it? The one thing I am enjoying about it is that there's this whole thing where there's, more than one team might win this, and I quite like that. It's a bit retro.
The media embrace whichever team wins on the
the other thing, and I'm taking my glasses off here so you know that it's serious.
Yeah. You missed out his comment.
Did I? Oh no, what did you say?
I just said the media embrace whichever team happens to win on the Saturday.
They're flim-flammers.
Yeah. I didn't think I said it as well, did I?
No,
I did it better before.
I'll watch it on the repeat.
Could you possibly?
That reminds me out there, if you, like me, missed the show, you can always watch it again in a couple of days' time on YouTube. Now, what I will say, there's been a lot of kind of people, threatening to throw themselves under a tube train or something because of the result. But you need to I think you need to bear this in mind. I mean, we were 25 points off the top 2 years ago. We're 14 points off the top last year. We are getting closer, and I think without doubt Jose is making us contenders again. And I think actually, when all's said and done, he's making us contenders again in a very, very quick time, Darren.
I think we'll win the league this season.
You think we're going to win it, don't you?
But there's always
I love your optimism.
No, there's still
I love your optimism.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
The benches are
the benches are as well. Benches.
Yes.
We were 6-1 to win the league yesterday, so I stuck 75 quid on it. I reckon we'll win it still.
I love it.
I'm not sure that we will win it, Got to speak like that all the time now, haven't you, to be a punter?
Carry on.
Don't you?
Carry on and see how long you live. Hey. Do you know what though? He's got a point. He might be speaking in an accent exceedingly queer, but
I'd say that on the program.
You can queer as in strange.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For goodness sake, it's like having Mary Whitehouse on the show. Yeah. But I think the bottom line is we've got to beat them up there.
Yeah.
Whether we win the title or not, we've got to at least try and ruin it for them.
Yeah, but the thing is, it will knock their confidence well. If we beat them up there, it's going to mess them up there. And I do not think Rodgers can get that team to win the league. I think they've got too much pressure on him. He's not a good enough manager to know to do it.
They will fade away towards the end of the season.
We're not mentioning them by name, Andy. We're not mentioning them by name. The other thing is, I think that actually, I think the beautiful thing is that Man City go up there a week or two before us, and I think Man City are going to have a right go at them, and I think Man City will beat them, and then we will use that as the template to beat them, like we used Liverpool as the template to go and beat Arsenal.
Unfortunately, the bad thing about that is that most of Man City's games are at home. We don't want them to win at Anfield. I would rather Liverpool win at Anfield because I still think that if we win all our games and Liverpool beat Man City,
you know what the spanner in the works is, don't you? We've got PSG either side,
and we're the only team that've got other things, which is why.
Sorry. If we beat PSG, we'll potentially have the semi-final either side, won't we?
This is the other thing about
which I think we will do.
Yeah, I think we will do.
I think we're going to win the Champions League. Anyway, enough. I'm being told. We've got to go. We'll carry it on afterwards. Right, we're going to be back in a very short while to do Fanny's Match Awards. Yes.